What's up, everybody? My name is Mike Whitmire. I'm the co-founder and CEO of FloQast, also an inactive CPA, also an active FloQast certified accountant, which in my opinion is the future of accounting. Our mission at FloQast here is to make sure accountants own the future of accounting with AI. And our guest today, I think, is insanely symbolic of where we think the industry is going. I want to welcome aboard Billy Klein, solutions consultant at FloQast. Billy, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Mike. Super pumped to be here.
Yeah, excited to have you. So we'll kick it off like normal. I'd love to hear a little bit about your career experience. Can we just take it from the top and tell me about how you got into accounting, and then we'll go from there?
Sure. Yeah. So solutions consultant here at FloQast, working on the Transform platform, which is going to be our newest rollout, the AI agents. Started my career as an auditor, 60, 80 hours a week. Super fun right out of college. Kind of hit the ground running. Didn't think busy season started in October, but it does when you're doing financial statements for some of those big investment firms. So started there, was there for about 2 years, stayed just until this transition over to senior, and then decided public accounting probably wasn't my favorite. Wanted to move on to some industry roles. So took a chance, moved over to some tech startups, trying to, start from the ground up, work my way up, kind of help automate some of their processes. Figured liked using Excel, got pretty good at that when I was an auditor.
And you were joining the accounting department to help drive some more automation? Okay.
Yep. Came in as a staff accountant, worked up to senior accountant. Again, like the startups, just trying to build out their processes and needed more hands on deck to start doing that and actually rolling things out and putting things in place. So did that at Rally Health, then moved over to another startup called Accuco. Same situation, just trying to automate things, build out as much as I could in Excel, so that you can pass it off to the next round of accountants as they continue to build it out. And ultimately decided that I didn't want to do accounting that long anymore, and found my way over to FloQast, where I don't do accounting, but I help others do their accounting. So
cool.
Not in the weeds, but still leveraging my accounting background.
Yeah, great spot to be in, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I want to dig back in the audit side a little bit more. So you said financial services in DC, busy season started in October. Does that have something to do with the government fiscal year end, or just your clients were busy all the time?
My client had multiple year ends. So 9/30 was their big one, or their second biggest one, and then 12/31 obviously was the big boy. And then they had 3/31 and 5/31. So right off the bat, they threw me to the wolves. 9/30. Just got right to it. And then I'm like, okay, cool. We get a month off for December and you start all over again in the new year. Luckily, they did give me a switch off, so I didn't stay on for the 3/31 cycle. I got to move over to some of the smaller like PE firms.
Okay.
So that was kind of cool. A little bit of a change. But yeah, I mean, the one main client was pretty much all that I was on the whole time I was there.
Okay. So let's just reflect on your time in audit a little bit, because we like to chat through these things as well. Like, what do you think are some of the experiences you had that were helpful? What was some of the knowledge you gained? Like, as you reflect on audit, how do you feel about working in that field?
Yeah. I mean, I think you learn a lot from it, right? There's, especially with the big four, right? Start with EY, like they have everything built out. They're a very well-oiled machine. They're good at this. They go in with a fully built out team. They're going to train you from the get-go exactly what you need to know. And then you do kind of get thrown to the wolves and doing the work. But it helps having that established protocol around you already it's crazy. You start working 60 hours like a month into being out of college. So having all of that around you is super, super helpful. And it makes having tough conversations a little easier when you feel more prepared for them. Because who am I? I'm like 21 years old, fresh out of college, and I got to go talk to some high up that's doing a process wrong and telling them why they're doing it wrong or what I need from them. And that's not super easy all the time, but when they kind of train you on that, help you feel prepared for it, definitely makes some of those tough conversations a lot easier. So I think that's super valuable.
Yeah, the imposter syndrome, I think, is very, very real at that staff, that staff auditor level. And it's the most interesting juxtaposition of you go through very intense onboarding. The first 2 weeks, it's like, boom, welcome aboard. Here's the EY stuff you need to know about. And then here's all the audit stuff you need to know about. Audit process, software, blah, blah, blah. Theoretically, you should be like good to go and ready to go. But every single person feels like then you get thrown to the wolves afterwards. And it's like, I just don't know if you can do training that properly sets you up to not feel like you're thrown to the wolves. Because then, you go out in the real world, you're like, oh my gosh, this isn't like what the textbook was like or what the software said. It's a little bit different.
Exactly. My word problems were way easier in the test than they are on this, right? It's it's all different too, even, jumping from the different teams. They were small engagements that I was on, but everything's done differently. The workbooks are different. The work papers are different. Where they store things, your contacts are different. So they help you at like a basic level, I would say, like preparing you to get in there and talking to people, figuring out like a checklist of questions you need to ask to get up to speed. I think that's helpful, but there's just certain things you're going to have to learn on the fly and kind of get thrown to the wolves to figure it out, right? Like trial by fire, figure it out.
Which some people like. Some people thrive in in that environment. So cool. Yeah. I reflect on EY like really fondly. I learned so much, and it is really helpful for the rest of my career. So it was tough. Like in the moment, it's difficult to appreciate it, but once you, literally the moment I was walking out the building after dropping my laptop off, I was like, this is kind of bittersweet. Like this was a big part of my career, but on to the next one. But anyway, enough reminiscing. So you moved over to industry, where you go from the opposite, like big company EY, well-oiled machine, everything's documented, it is what it is. You go to a startup where effectively nothing's documented and it's a blank slate. So tell me about that transition for you personally.
It was definitely tough. I knew that's what I was signing up for, right? Because I did enjoy kind of putting the Excel workbooks together, even making improvements for what EY had already built out. And there's more efficient ways to do things. One of the fun things, not to harp on the EY stuff, but one of the fun things our managers used to do is pick a staff that day and take away their mouse. So you had to learn how to use hotkeys.
Yeah, that was sick. Yep.
Yeah, it sucked for the day, but like I learned how to do stuff pretty fast. So I knew what I was signing up for, right? They brought me in because I kind of harped on that I was good at using Excel, came from EY, helped building out these crazy work papers. It was a lot at first because there's nowhere to go. If I have a question, who do you ask, right? Like I'm reporting directly to the controller and he's like, I don't know. We didn't do that before. I brought you in to figure this out. So like, I don't know, start knocking on doors, asking people questions, seeing what you can come up with. So the structure of that made it, or I guess lack of structure, made it very difficult to get things done because I knew what I needed to do, but I didn't really know where to start or who to talk to, what to gather to begin doing that. So it was definitely much more difficult to just begin the process. Once you got going, though, you're kind of the keeper of the keys. I'm building this out on my own. So I knew what to do from there. It was just, who needs to be involved in this? Who do I have to get approval for? What systems work the best for what I'm trying to achieve? What do we already have available? I don't need to reinvent the wheel. What's out there? There was just no communication for any of that stuff. So tracking down the right people was not very easy.
It's a different mindset you have to have. You go from following the rules to all of a sudden writing the rules. You're creating the rules and getting to do it. And it does require a mentality shift that honestly for me, it took me a little while to get over that and be like, oh, it's not do the processes EY tells me to do. It's I got to figure out how Cornerstone operates. Right. And like one tactical piece of advice I would say is if you're in audit and you can get on a new client, it's really brutal because you have to establish all the audit processes, but it's like your easiest stepping stone into going to a startup. So if you are methodical about your career and you want to be at a startup eventually, I would recommend trying to find a first-time client or maybe even like a pre-IPO client where you're just doing new stuff and figuring out audit procedures. And then that would help you get in that mindset a little bit more of like, okay, we're going to go do things and start from the ground up. And also it's not about identifying problems. It's about identifying problems and bringing solutions to your boss's table. That's the most important thing at a startup. Like, gosh, there are enough problems. If you can come to the table with a solution to that problem, you are just going to be a godsend for that person. So.
It's funny that you mentioned that too. Well, I'm sure we'll get to that later on, but it's funny. It's easy to come up with the problems. It's not so easy to suggest solutions to those problems.
I like paying for solutions, not problems.
Yeah, like I can tell you what's wrong. How do we fix it? I don't know. That's somebody else, but I can figure out what's wrong with it.
Yeah. So let's, okay, now stepping into, you moved into industry, and then you had your role at your first company, but let's hop to the second company as well. Just tell me a little bit more about the progression.
Yeah. So the first one, Rally Health, I was brought in as a staff accountant. So there was a senior above me. She had already done some stuff, but there was only so much one person could do. So they brought me in under her to kind of revamp what she had done, make it a little better, and then kind of build out my own stuff. Second company, Acuco, is where I was pulled in like, hey, now you're the senior. There really isn't anybody above you. You got to figure out it all. So I was more so trying to automate so that I could push the work downward because I was better at automating things. I knew what audit readiness looked like coming from an auditor. We had lower level staff accountants that were more like bookkeepers doing the same things, taking 4 hours to do something that should take like 35 minutes, but they just copy paste, like watching them drag around the mouse was painful. So they brought me into like, okay, we have things that are going on, but they all stink. They totally need to be revamped. You need to come in here and put workbooks together that scale, constantly growing this business. It was Amazon web based. So they were doing a lot of shipping and fulfillment through Amazon, like third party. So constantly adding new product lines and everything. So we needed to scale this very quickly, and Excel is okay at doing that if you put the right controls in place, build the right formulas, all that fun stuff. So they brought me in to really focus on that and speed up the work everyone else was doing and add more to that. So instead of wasting 4 hours, they spend 30 minutes on 5 different tasks instead of one that takes 4 hours. So I don't even think we had an actual close at that point. I think we were doing like 28, 30 days, even if that, it was a soft close. So they needed to speed up the work the others were doing so that we could actually close the books and have real financials.
And auditable financials. Like that's such an underrated part of coming out of audit is you just organically think about the audit in your day-to-day life. And it's really nice because at the end of the day, when your team is through their work, it's going to be auditable because you just kind of set it up that way. And wouldn't it feel so weird to operate without creating supporting documentation for a journal entry?
I don't know how to do any of that.
Like I couldn't imagine posting a JE and just being like, I don't care about the support. That's nowhere. Yeah.
It's fine. I can't do anything without Excel or some sort of process written out or documented. Like I'm getting married in April and my fiance is so sick of the spreadsheets. So sick of them. I have to write everything down. She's like, this is simple. I'm like, I gotta see it. I gotta put it in the sheet and see what it looks like.
Dude, and it seeps into life. Like so much of my life is like, well, what if someone asked me to prove it? How am I gonna prove it at some point? It's like, all right, there you go.
I got it all on deck. I'm ready. Just ask.
So then I'm really curious. You have a accounting background and you found your way to FloQast. Can you tell me more about maybe how you heard of FloQast? What role you were looking at? Like, tell me more.
Yeah. So I actually found FloQast when I was at AccuCo because, like I said, they weren't closing the books and just trying to figure out better ways to do this. Internet searches, trying to put together like checklists and things for the team. Ran into FloQast, realized it looked very similar to the EY Canvas platform that they use. I'm like, okay, I'm familiar with this. This is almost exactly what we need. I have no visibility into what anybody else is doing. I have no idea how long it's taking, if anything changes. We were still doing the recs to NetSuite, looking at all the freaking numbers, making sure everything ties out. So I saw it more as a user is how I came across it. We didn't end up using it because they were not ready to invest in the accounting field yet, or accounting department, excuse me. But seeing I'm like, this is perfect. This is exactly what teams need. This is what we need. Started to push for it, couldn't get it to happen, but I understood the value from a potential user perspective. I was like, oh, I got to check this out and see what I can do here. Knowing I didn't want to always be in accounting, I think this was a really, really cool opportunity when I saw it to still help accounting, but not actually be in the weeds of it. So yeah, it saw what it could be used for from an end user standpoint and wanted to get involved and see what it was all about.
And you started as an ATC.
I did,
with us more. So you want to just dig into that role a little bit more?
Yeah, so the ATC role is basically your first point of contact with FloQast once you're actually a customer. Obviously, you have the sales cycle and all that fun stuff. But the ATC is sort of the first face that you see at FloQast when you're a real customer.
And to get the acronym out there, Accounting Technology Consultant.
Yes. We love our acronyms. Accounting Technology Consultant. Basically, implementation consultant. So first face, kind of introduce you to FloQast, what it is, what it can do. And the biggest thing is I have to know how to use it because I have to set it up. So I explained to, the folks that weren't involved in the sales cycle, what it is that you guys are going to be using now, how it's going to work, understand what your current accounting department looks like, folders, processes, checklists, recs, put all of that together into FloQast and then train you how to use it. So starting with a mapping document, you take their trial balance, kind of map everything into different financial statement line items so that we can group them by folders, associate the different checklists, get it all up and running, and then walk you guys through it and make sure you understand how it works and how it's going to save you a bunch of time.
Yeah. Awesome. And obviously I did that job for a period of time here around FloQast. I always found it really interesting because you were learning about a new company. You could You generally had a good starting point for a checklist, but you can also make recommendations along the way. I mean, we try to not be pushy, but it's like, hey, we have worked with a lot of customers, and like this could be a good area for improvement there. And you got to be helpful during that consulting engagement, not necessarily just send me all your documentation because I'm going to audit you. It's like, send me all your stuff because we're here to help and make you better and make your life easier going forward. So it's a pretty rewarding role to have.
100%. That shift was one of the first things that I noticed. You are someone they are excited to see. They're happy to see you. You're not the bad guy anymore. You're not nagging them. They're pumped that you're helping them do things. You're not adding more work. I'm helping them do the work that they're actually doing. So that was awesome. I very much enjoyed being the good guy, the exciting face, and I'm a generally positive, happy guy, so it fit pretty well to, hey, welcome to FloQast. Let's make your life a lot easier.
Made you feel a little bit better?
Yes. Yeah, for sure. So that was definitely a fun shift for me.
And how long were you in the ATC role?
About a year and a half, I would say. There was a little bit of overlap as we, transitioned from the ATC role. I had clients that I was already onboarding, so we saw those through until we fully transitioned over. So about a year and a half, I would say.
Okay, cool. Well, one of the things, for those not aware, at FloQast, we hire a ton of accountants. There are a lot of different roles where accountants can be successful at FloQast, and we like to encourage that move around the company, see what's a good fit for you. An accountant might start in a role and then get in here and realize like, oh, that's not the best fit for my personality maybe, so maybe I should go do this thing instead. And that's totally fine. Like, I want the accounting knowledge in here, and if there's some job that's better for you as a human being, that's great. Let's put you in a position to succeed. So we encourage that. And so you took advantage of that. So you're looking around the company and maybe talking to some people and you start to look at some new opportunities as well. So tell me about the solutions consultant role.
Yeah. So it started kind of as like a hybrid. I was more doing like consulting work to start, kind of working with clients. Once we moved over to the Transform side, just kind of figure out what was going on. What do you want it to do? What is AI? Is this cool new thing? How are we going to use it? We all have an idea of it, but like, what is the actual end user thinking about, right? Because I can build whatever, and if you don't like it, you're not going to use it. It doesn't really matter how cool it is if it doesn't resonate with you.
Yeah.
So that first, I guess, 6 months was still in that like ATC role, trying to understand what they wanted, what it needed to do, how it needed to function, what it needed to look and feel like. So here's your use case, try and build it. See if I can do it on their behalf as a consultant. Got really good at using the product because I was helping design it, right? They were basically using me as the test subject. If I, as a former accountant, can use it, you'd think other accountants can use it. So just trying to put myself in their shoes as if they hired me, like I was before it. Those other two startups, just come in, see what I can do based on what they need. And obviously I was using our fun AI tool, which had its ups and downs to start, right? Very new product. So kind of thrown to the wolves again. Just what can it do? And that slowly improved as we worked closer with product and engineering. Be like, okay, I need it to do this, and this is why. So there was a little bit of telephone, right? You're talking to engineers. Accounting is kind of its own weird language in itself. And then they have their own code language that they speak. So we're not speaking the same language, trying to figure out how to communicate to one another. I'm saying this, they're hearing that. So that was a interesting transition because, before I was kind of on my own, right? Once I knew what I needed to do, I was able to go do it. Now it's like, okay, I'm stuck. I can't get it to do this thing. Can you help me? And here's why I need it to do that. How do we figure it out? So it was definitely a lot of like troubleshooting and kind of brainstorming early on. So I'd say that was about the first 6 months. So that kind of takes us through 2024. Then once we got into 2025, that's when it moved more into the solutions consultant role, where it's more of a sales focus. Now I know how the product works. I've been spending a lot of time using it as an end user pretty much at that point, because we were doing all of the building. So knew exactly how to speak to it, knew how to answer questions on it. So that naturally segued over to the sales side, where now obviously we're rolling it out to the market. People are curious about how it works, have a lot of questions on it because it's new, right? I mean, there's really not anything else out there that's helping you do the work like we are, I would say. So yeah, once we got into the solutions consultant role, it was more fielding questions and helping them understand the value and how it works, rather than kind of playing middleman between an end user and then the engineering team.
Yeah. It's a really cool story. I mean, you sort of organically started working with the AI product, organically became a bit of a product manager through that as well, providing for like you talking about troubleshooting and suggesting ways for improving that is product management. Like that's such a big chunk of product management. And then ultimately got tapped to take over the group that leads sales and solution consulting over there. It's a really, really cool, like very classic startup story.
It weirdly just organically worked out. I mean, you kind of mentioned it, right? The ATCs especially are often poached or sought after in different areas within FloQast because we know how it works.
The downside of being open to people shifting around departments is you end up getting internal recruiting efforts going on.
It definitely hurts from that perspective, but it helps in those other areas because we know how it works, right? A lot of folks don't see the full picture. Like I was using it, right? I had to go in and set it up and do all of it.
The credibility you have from literally like being the guy who helped get it off the ground is impressive.
Yeah. So it's cool that it worked its way into the Transform platform from just core app ATC work. And then I kind of knew I wanted to do sales anyway. My mom was a headhunter, recruiter, so she always had that sales mindset. So I kind of saw that being a path anyway. It's just hard to get out of accounting because accounting pays pretty well.
Yeah, it's job certainty.
Right, exactly. And sales, you oftentimes, especially coming from accounting, you got to take a hit. You're starting over. It's a new career. So this was a really unique opportunity, I'd say, to kind of get to sales from an accounting background without starting over. I just kind of climbed the ladder, if you will, even though there wasn't really a ladder to climb.
You put the ladder down.
Yeah, it was zigzagging a little bit, but it's definitely been very cool. And I'm very thankful for the opportunity. It was, I raised my hand. I wanted to do other work, more challenging work, be on some of bigger projects is kind of what I thought it was going to lead to. Some of our tougher clients, and someone came to me and was like, hey, how about AI? I saw that cool presentation you guys did back at Go, 2 years ago? I'm like, oh, this is super cool. And I don't even think it's anywhere near what we actually built, but just the idea of it was super cool. And my manager came to me and was like, so what would you think about this? It's like, yeah, I'm in. That sounds pretty cool. I used to do that. Well, in Excel, but now we're going to use AI to do it. I think that'd be pretty cool. It just kind of worked itself out for me.
And as I know, I talk all the time about auditability, super important, top of mind. Like, how would you say, as you're building out the product, making suggestions, like obviously you're providing a lot of that feedback to the engineers and probably explaining a little bit about the audit. Like, do you think the engineers are up to speed on audits, how they work? And like,
not at the beginning. They are now. They got really, really sick of me shooting down their ideas when I'm like, you can't audit that, guys. It's not going to work.
It must be so annoying as an engineer to hear that.
They hated me for the first 6 months. Me and my counterpart, Nick Morazzo, we kind of the two of us were the test subjects here, right?
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but
I was just like, this is cool, but I don't know how you're going to prove it. Like literally my job is prove it. I get how cool this is. It's fast, but no one's going to be okay with this. How do I review this? Because they at first wanted to get fully at like 0 Excel work, which would be awesome. If I didn't have to use the Excel spreadsheets, that would be awesome. But I don't know how you're going to change people from reviewing it, right? At some point you got to review it and it looks weird in the app. It's just not what we're used to. So that was really hard to get over. They did not want to do Excel because it's a little difficult to make it do that, to have something that's web-based that actually manipulates. I mean, Google Sheets, for example, is the worst. I loathe Google Sheets. I can't, because it takes away my hotkeys. They don't work the same
okay.
way.
From that perspective, I can't stand it either.
It's great for the collaboration. Don't get me wrong. I love that. The real-time updates, not multiple versions, that's great. But I'm so much like filtering is the worst.
Yeah, it is.
I'm so bad at it.
Man, I'm like far enough removed from accounting. I don't do hotkey stuff anymore. So I'm like out of practice. So Sheets doesn't bother me as much now that I don't have to do the hardcore Excel work.
Do you have a MacBook too? Because that's what also
I still can't switch over to the Mac. And I gave it the old college try. I used one for 3 months. Like I feel like it was a very fair run, and I just couldn't get there. I'm back to a PC.
If it makes you feel better, I've had mine for a year and I'm still not used to it.
You're not,
so
okay.
It's not great.
I'm going back, and sorry, IT, we're not going to be an Apple shop around here. We're gonna have both of them.
it does work better. It processes faster. The Mac is better for certain things, but Excel based stuff, it's not great. Really, really bad.
Give me an alt key, not that propeller key.
Yeah, I can't do it. But yeah, so just getting them to understand the auditability piece did not go over super easy, but we got there. Yeah. I think what we've built now is right in line with what people are expecting, right? The first year, I'd say at least, was pretty much just like getting feedback on it from folks. We went live with it, 3/31, I think, was our first rollout of it. And then 10/1 mass released everywhere.
Yeah.
And pretty much up until July of 2025, I think we were still like just taking in feedback to get an idea of what folks wanted it to do, what they needed out of it. And that's from your private all the way up to public companies that are huge, super small, mom and pops. Like, you want this to work for everybody. So it was just trying to figure out, what do you need so that you're comfortable with letting AI actually do stuff? And that's weird to start trying to figure out.
It's a big challenge. How do you build something that can handle everything at a company, but do it in an auditable way? And I think, it's such a hard time balancing the personalities of, a startup where you want to build products fast and get to market, for sure. Engineers who also like to build stuff and see customers using it and get the satisfaction that they're getting value out of all the hard work they put in to write the code. But then we're coming in like, it's all got to be auditable, and you need to think about the various assertions and how's this going to be like, let me explain to you substantive testing versus IT testing and ITGCs and blah, blah, blah. It's just like, it's a bummer being the bearer of bad news with a lot of that, but also hyper important for FloQast and the product getting used.
Yeah. And it's fun too, because it kind of tests your knowledge, right? Like, okay, you think you know accounting. Can you explain it to someone that has no freaking idea what you're saying?
It really does. It really does.
Yeah.
Pull it down.
Like, I'm using ITCG, substantive testing. They're like, what did you just call me? Like, yeah, all right, I know. We'll back it up. Let me explain what this actually means. But it was cool. It was definitely a very fun experience. And going back to not wanting to ditch everything, you could have just started over, gone to some random sales company and been fine. But it's cool to have that actual knowledge. I went to college for it. I did a master's. I worked with EY. I didn't want to start all over. So still being able to leverage that accounting background and do something totally different is pretty cool.
It's super gratifying, like being able, I could not agree more. Big part of my sales pitch for recruiting accounts to FloQast. Try something you might enjoy a little bit more, and don't disappoint your parents that you got an accounting degree. You can put it all to work. There you go.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, my mom was a recruiter, like for accountants, like C-suite employees.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Like yeah. So she was like, accounting, especially when COVID hit too, because I switched from EY during COVID, and it was actually pretty easy.
Oh, okay.
Because accounting didn't stop.
Yeah.
They needed more accountants. So that didn't scare me. Whereas a lot of other friends were like, I'm in consulting work. Like, I'm scared. I don't know if that job's going to be around anymore. And they were looking to switch and had a harder time. So for all the kids out there, accounting may not be the cool, flashy thing, but it does pay the bills, and it is a pretty reliable job.
It does pay the bills. It's honestly part of why I felt comfortable taking the risk to start FloQast. So I was like, well, I can always go be an accounting manager somewhere if this thing doesn't work out. And that's a nice fallback plan to be able to have. So in the solutions consultant role, you talk to a ton of prospects. You also talk to our customers, presumably, who are taking a look at Transform. And for those not aware, Transform is the fastest growing product in FloQast history, kind of despite us trying to hold it back a little bit on the go-to-market side, even like, no, we're not ready to onboard that many people. But
that's what I was there for first, to be the wall, like, do not sell this to them if it's not going to work. Like, it had to be the perfect customer to do that. And that was not fun at first. To just be like, no, not yet. Like, come back in 6 months and we can do it. You're not the ideal customer just yet.
But I think right move for the business to turn down revenue and make sure we were supporting the right people, and it was all going to work out well. So with that, you obviously saw like those accounts who are heavily demanding AI and people who are really excited about it. I'm sure you have a mix of people who are maybe still questioning it or hesitant to it, or just like, what is going on with all this AI stuff? Like, can you tell me more about the conversations that you're having with prospects and customers and how they're feeling about AI?
Yeah. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there. It's such a wide range. Some people are coming to you with AI initiatives driven by their higher ups. Sometimes IT teams are involved. It's their initiative to figure out ways to layer in AI in the accounting department so that they don't have to do it, right? So they're trying to see what's out there from the IT perspective. So those conversations are much more technical. They focus much more on like the governance around it and security on it. And then you have like the mom and pop shop that's like, we are underwater, we need to speed this up. I just need to know how it works. How easy is it to set up? How easy is it to use? Kind of more afraid of like the black box that AI can be. Going back to that auditability, how do I know what it's doing, right? I don't want it to just do something, but I have no way of figuring it out, because that's also creating a bottleneck just in a different place, right? If I have to figure out what went wrong and have no way of doing that, you just actually slowed my process down. I would have rather just done it by hand.
You're going to have to redo all the work.
Right. Like that's not cool. It doesn't work. No. So it's definitely changed over time. I think there were much more doubters a year ago, right? People were like, yeah, can AI really do this? What does it really do? Because it was everywhere. I mean, I feel like people were being force-fed AI.
Totally.
Everyone was like, no, we have AI. We got it. We know how to make AI work. And it's more like a chatbot, which is cool, super helpful, but is that really like speeding it up? If I have to ask it a question every time or tell it to do something every single time, are you really automating? And it's helpful, don't get me wrong. It makes me sound way smarter in emails, but like I'm not really doing the work, right? I still had to type it out and ask it or tell it what to tell me, and then it revamps it, makes it sound better. With this, like you just build it and let it kind of do its thing over. You still have to manage it, right? Accounting's super regulated, but it changes all the time, and there's no one right way to do everything. So you still got to go in and maintain it and use it and all that stuff. But I think we're definitely seeing a shift away from the scary like Terminator AI. I think that was very, very prevalent at the beginning. People were super afraid of it. Is it going to take my jobs? Is definitely a question I got a lot early on. I don't think we get that as much anymore. Maybe it's just you with all these podcasts pushing that we're not taking jobs, but it seems like the message is getting out there, right? People are seeing it more as a tool to help you rather than, oh no, it's out here to replace me.
Yeah. Well, I wonder in hindsight how much the AI industry themselves might have shot themselves in the foot a little bit. Yeah, you have these very big, loud, broad AI marketing campaigns that are everywhere, in your face all the time. And it's paired with a message of it's going to automate everyone's job. Yeah. And you're just like, what? All I hear about is this and that's that. And then also not really having great use cases communicated to you. It's just like, here's the potential. True. And the potential sucks for all of you. like not a good message to then spray wide and loud and go from there. So I feel like over the last year, it's tamped down a bit to where we're kind of like desensitized to seeing AI everywhere. And it's just like, yeah, whatever, it's AI again. Like a quick story, we were in the Boston airport and there was an Anthropic ad, like huge. My daughter's like, why does everything say AI? I'm like, you're 8, you're right. Everything says AI, and Daddy talks about it all the time too. You have no idea. But I think we've kind of gotten a little desensitized to it, and it's like whatever. But then we have actual real use cases that are coming out, and you're showing a customer something. Hey, here's how it can work, and you're realizing, oh, it's a great productivity tool. Like that's great. Exactly. I don't want to do that work anymore anyway. So perfect. Let's get that off my plate. And I can see that narrative starting to shift a little bit.
Yeah. And I think we've gotten our messaging down to now that we have like an actual platform and we know what it's doing and how we're not so much in like the feedback loop trying to like, does this resonate with you? Is this doing what you want? We've kind of figured out what we're building, the direction we're going with it. So our messaging is a little easier to get across too, especially because it's very different, right?
Oh, it's hyper different, man.
Yeah, a lot of what you hear out there isn't what we're saying or what we're trying to do. And hey, kudos to them. Everyone's got a different way to do it. Again, accounting there's no one right way to do it. So different flavors for different people, totally fine. I just think the way we're doing it resonates the most with me, right? Like I don't want to do the same thing again and again. There's easier ways to do this. We can speed this up so that I can spend more time elsewhere. They're replacing like the mindless part of my job. And that's fine because I'm still in control of it. I have to train it what to do. I have to still monitor it, but I can do so much more with the time that I was wasting just putting a spreadsheet together. That's not value add work. It needs to be done. We have to have it. That goes into the prove it side of stuff. But is it that valuable other than when an auditor comes asking? We got to have it for the auditors. But other than that, what if I can improve the way that we're actually spending money? If I could spend more time on the variance analysis side of things and explain why this is not how we should be spending money, really looking into where it's going and the story that the numbers are telling. Because we have an unbiased picture of what's going on in our business from the numbers standpoint, right? If you can understand that and help others understand that, that's where you're really adding value, because they paint the real picture. You can pretend your business is doing whatever you want. The numbers aren't going to lie to you.
Yeah. And to do that, I think about, for example, a variance explanation as a pretty easy way to offer some strategic value to the company. But like, I think about myself working till 11 o'clock every night, pre-IPO when we were doing all that work back in accounting. And I was 100% putting in the least amount of effort required to produce a variance explanation, because it was just a thing I was trying to check the box in. It's like fixed assets went up by this because we hired this number of people, and that's it. And that AI could put that paragraph together. That is a piece of cake. The helpful context for a board member or someone else might be like, hey, we fired up this office to help drive additional go-to-market, and that's why these costs came in and bought. And it's like, oh, okay, that good decision. You know what I mean? Like, you can be more strategic, but you need time in the day to think and pick your head up. And like, time to think is a very real thing that I think is underappreciated by a lot of us in accounting. But yeah, you need free time to be able to think strategically and about why you made decisions of how it's going to impact the future.
Right. And the variance flux analysis is always done at the end. It's like the last thing. You're so burnt out. It's like you said, I'm just checking the boxes. Like, I just got to get it out the door. I've worked way too hard this week. I'm dead. If I can reduce the headache up front and get you to the end faster, you're not as burnt out. Those explanations that, hey, have AI take the first pass. It's going to miss some of the context, but have it do that. And then I can really come in over top and really vamp those up. But if I'm burnt out and don't care, I'm not going to do that. And they're just getting a half-assed variance explanation that I could actually add value if I spent the time to provide real explanations for what's going on.
Like a really tangible mentality shift you could have is, all right, I used to go from looking at what balance has changed by above the threshold necessary to create a variance explanation. Okay, crap, it's higher. I have to go dig through the transactions to figure it out. You draft up a paragraph and then you move on with your life. Versus the future, when AI has taken the first pass at the paragraph for you, is like it can dig through the transaction level detail, populate a paragraph as to what happened. And then your mentality as an accountant is, all right, I'm about to go read this paragraph. I need to explain why this happened. It's like, explain the why, not what happened. Right. No one cares about what happened. AI can do what happened, but the why is what's valuable to your team, the executives, all that good stuff. And you can spend more time focusing on that.
Right. And that's the information that you know and can figure out. AI is not going to be able to do that. But if you had to do both of those, that's double the amount of time. Okay, what happened? Now, why did it happen? If I just have to go in and do the why, that's going to save you so much more time. And you probably already know the why. You just have to figure out how it pieces together.
Yeah. And accounting is one of the few, you've heard me talk about this. Accounting is one of the few departments that interacts with every other department within the company. It's like accounting, HR, IT, kind of everyone else sort of does their own thing and isn't necessarily talking to everybody else at the company. So yeah, from an accounting lens, you at least have some general idea of what the heck's going on around the company. And if you don't, I bet you the CFO does, because they're in high-level meetings. They're becoming even more strategic, and CFOs know about everything that's going on within a company at this point. So that knowledge is owned.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sounds more interesting. So in terms of adoption, you're selling the product, they're excited about it, that's great. Let's say they buy Transform. Now it's on to talking about how we're going to adopt this. And there are a couple different paths to adoption, and we talk about these a good amount. I'd be curious, what do customers think they want? And then what have you seen be most successful in practice?
So it resonates the most, the like keeper of the keys, right? People understand that we need to figure out how to automate things, but it's kind of gate kept, if you will. Like there's a barrier there. IT, you need IT involvement, right? I don't have the time to learn how to do all of this stuff. So when I can say like, I can do this, I don't know anything about coding, I'm not an expert IT person, I understand my process. That seems to resonate the most. If they can go in and build out their own process in a platform that's like made for accountants, that's what they want to hear. Getting there is a little different. Some folks want to be very handheld. Others are like, yeah, I use ChatGPT all the time. Like, let me add it. I can figure this out. Show me how the clicks work. I'm good to go. I know how to prompt. Yeah. I want to add it. I needed this platform to be built so I could use it. Then there's the others that I like the idea of it. I want to be able to own everything, but I need to be handheld. I'm not super technical. I need to understand how this works, how you prompt it. And then there's the others that are just like, hey, we need a solution and I don't have time to learn anything or do anything. So I need help. I would say most people are in the bucket of I want to build. They want to be able to build all on their own. That is definitely the largest pool of people. Different flavors to it. Some want like templatized agents where they just kind of tweak the last little bit of it. Others are just like, yeah, just free form. Let me see what I can build. But the biggest thing I think resonates with everybody is the idea of that we're going to train you no matter what. At the lowest level, you're going to learn how to edit this. So if a partner builds it, if I build it for you and turn it on, you can at least go in and make little tweaks to it. And at the bare minimum, that is huge for them. Because if I'm helping you automate close, that's kind of a crazy time. You're going to have 3 days to do everything, 3 to 5 days, whatever it is. If something were to break and I have to put a ticket into IT, and that's like, let's say I'm doing revenue recognition, that's a pretty important piece of close. If I have to wait 3 days for IT to get back to me and fix the problem, that's a huge issue for us. I'm going to get yelled at because we're not closing the books on time.
Yep.
So if we're going to be doing this automation story, we have to at least have a way that they can own a piece of it and at least make edits to it. So that I would say is jumping out to everybody, being able to manage it from a basic level, editing it. More and more folks are leaning into the builder side of it. They want to be able to fully build out. And I think our immersive onboarding program, IOP, as we call it, is showing people that they can actually build. I think they come in with a mindset that it's going to be harder than, I mean, it's kind of crazy when you think about what we're doing, right? If I'm automating a full-blown Excel reconciliation, that's kind of nuts. You just click a button and it does everything. That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah. So they come in thinking it's a little more complex than it's going to be. And don't get me wrong, some of them are very crazy. Some people have insane processes that need to be automated, but
I feel like I'm constantly throwing the most difficult process that somebody has at me. It's like, anyway, I'm sure you hear them too. But
I mean, I ask for them too, right? I want to know what we need to get to. Maybe I can only solve this today, but where are we going, right? This isn't the maximum we want to be able to do. I want to be able to automate everything. But yeah, I think as they go through and actually learn how to use it, again, kind of learning by trial, you go in and start using it, more people want to start building.
Well, I'll directly ask you for the solutions consultant hat here. Can you explain the IOP program, and if I want to go that direction for my accounting department, what's that going to look like?
Yes. So you will work with one of our forward deployed accountants. They are going to be the ATC on the Transform side, just a slightly different title. So you would be assigned with one of them. The training program is set up to be a combination of live training sessions, online or in person, depending on where you're at or team size, anything like that. And then with some of our online courses as well through FloCademy. So I think it is 6 to 8 hours total of training from just like the FloQast controlled portion of it. So you would go through 3 different online courses and then 2 different 3-hour sessions where you will build actual agents. We have a prompting course where it will teach you kind of online what it is to communicate with AI, because that's a little different if you're not used to it. Use cases that are out there, what AI does in general. And then you go to those live sessions where you actually build some of our sort of like dummy agents based on some like beta customer use cases that we've seen. So you get a feel for it, what it's supposed to do, how it's supposed to work. And then we go through and build out a trial agent with you. So your actual use case, you come to the table after kind of seeing what it does, how it works, and we're going to try and build it together. So the goal is after that trial agent, you can walk away feeling comfortable to build all on your own and have that FDA there as a supporting member, but not really a builder with you. So you go out, build whatever you want from there.
Okay. I'm going to play prospect for you.
Go ahead.
All right. That sounds awesome. I look forward to my team getting to that point, but we are drowning today. Like I don't have time to do anything like that. How else could I get started?
Yeah, so we have the partner route as well. You can work with one of our implementation partners. I think we're up to 3 of them fully rolled out now, enabled, working with customers so they can come in and actually give you more of a hands-on experience. They can do the training as well if, it's just not a now thing. Maybe you want to circle back in 3 months and have them trained, but I need agents today. They can get going right away. They're fully trained up, and they have a unique experience as well because they're actual consultants, right? So they're there to come in, really help you understand the process that you're trying to automate and actually kind of weigh in better ways to do it as well. So it's not just hey, this is what I need you to build, but they'll also kind of work with you and improve the process while automating it as well. And we have a decent chunk of clients that are going that route as well.
Okay. Yeah. I could see either one working out. Nice. I'll ask a question I like asking all people for you. I'd be like, hey, I don't know everything about AI there is to know. You talk to people all day about AI. What are some questions I should be asking you that I haven't asked you yet?
Oh, that is a good one. If you want to get really technical, the big one is the security, right? Like, where's the data going?
Yeah.
How are you handling all of that? I think that's the scary thing.
How are we handling all that? How are you handling all of that?
How are we handling that? So we have all of the necessary things in place. We were one of the first companies to get the ISO 42001, which is just like our AI governance that just says that we're one of the first companies to just be forward thinking about the way that we're handling data. Everything's secure. We're not, using it to train models, third-party models, because we are using them. So we have enterprise agreements in place, not passing data through to those models to train them. So keeping everything confidential. The way we store everything is within our AWS environment. So we keep everybody separate in their own little schemas. So there's no kind of overlap between everything. Everyone's on their own tables, schemas, all that fun stuff, keeping it separated. Everything's covered in like the SOC 1, SOC 2 agreements. We have everything that we need from the InfoSec perspective.
Look at you, schemas and
I'm learning.
At all, nice. All right, so security is a question that you get pretty frequently, and that's hard to ask because I think for a lot of people it is like, what should I even be asking about security here? And you kind of like assume data is being used to train models because that's all you hear about. But then, like, wait, how do you not use it to train and it's pretty, I can see it being complicated. So that makes a ton of sense.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that we haven't really hit on here is the auditability, right? We're kind of around it, but how do you make it auditable? And our answer to that is through the scripting, right? So it's really smart. AI is good at a lot of different things. I mean, you have the ones that you were talking about songs earlier, it was making funny songs, can make these crazy pictures. But what it's also really good at is coding. Really, really good at coding. Like
probably like the best thing.
Yeah, the best thing at it. It is insanely good at it. And it writes very, very complex code too, especially for accounting processes where things change. The data's a little different every time. A lot of complex rules. We are actually using it to write that code so that it is repeatable, it is auditable, it is going to return the exact same result every time. Because that's scary, right? If I'm getting a different output every time, how the hell do I review that?
Yeah.
I'm learning a new workbook every time. That's craziness. There's no way that's efficient for anybody. So how we're going about the auditability, I think, is key. I mean, I focus on that exclusively during our demos. I think that's the big piece that I want people to understand, that's where we're different. Because, I mean, you just have AI thinking, but if it's free thinking and it hallucinates, that's not going to work. We're screwed. We're screwed if it starts hallucinating and doing random things. So how we go about that auditability via the script is crucial. And whether they ask it or not, I make sure that they hear it.
Yeah. Because it's not necessarily thought of by everybody. And also, like, auditability itself is a broad term I've found, because there are two components of. We talk about how we have our SOC reports, our ISO 42001, like, those are different than auditability. Those are a component of auditability, but auditability is how we build our product with the audit in mind. And I think that's where it's more, almost every company is going to put the SOC reports on their website. They're going to list them on the website, but it's who do you want to partner with, who are the nerds about audit and are going to make sure that the technology you're using is going to get the stamp of approval from EY, PwC, Deloitte, KPMG, all the big ones.
Exactly. And I mean, we make sure that all of that passes. We've done like our own independent audits, worked with our internal auditors, and just like, okay, break this. What is this not doing that you would just not be okay with? What do I need to show you for you to be like, yep, good. That's doing exactly what I want. You've checked all the boxes. We're good. I mean, Vicky's probably so sick of us asking her questions like that.
No, Vicky loves it. I'm sure. Yeah, you were aware of this. I'm saying this for the audience. Like Vicky, our internal compliance, the person, she loves compliance and she loves being involved in product. Like it's a very cool opportunity for her as a compliance professional to provide her feedback that is being used within our product to build our product. It's a very cool opportunity for her. And then we have great partners who do implementations. They also do audits. And so as we're building this out, we get stamp of approval from them being like, yeah, I would sign off on this from an audit perspective because they don't want to be deploying technology that's not going to be auditable either. So we have this great ecosystem where like internally we have a checking mechanism with Vicky before it gets to an auditor, and then it'll get to an audit firm and they'll give us the thumbs up before we go out to market with it. So
and Vicky even kind of had a unique experience in that she was trying to use it.
Yeah.
They were trying to use it for some of their compliance use cases. So she understood exactly what she needed to pass an audit from her side. So we had a whole list of things that needed to get added in so she could use it.
Like, Vicky, I know we can help, but we're also trying to focus on the accountants here. Can
Exactly. She's like, no, the accountants need this too. We're like, all right, fine. You're right. We'll work on it. Right. Tyler, get on it.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it's been really cool watching that product develop so quickly. And I mean, to go from like hands on keyboards, and I feel like February of last year, really in earnest, like making a production ready application to how fast it grew and how quickly we've ramped up the ATC team, the forward deployed accounts to help drive adoption, you getting to move into the solutions consultant role, which is like scaling the department and getting ready to go. It's been really fun watching this product develop. So I say all that. Congratulations, man. Thank you for all your help getting this off the ground. It's an awesome initiative for FloQast.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's been a super fun opportunity. I would gladly do it again. Asked a year and a half ago, I'd jump right back on board. This has been really cool. And I think you kind of nailed it there, right? I think we were kind of just testing around until February of last year. And then we really got boots on the ground and made this thing take off. And it's been really, really cool to see the changes. If you asked me a year and a half ago, I would not say we're here today.
Well, I hope we have another product that's as cool as this one that you can be as impactful on as well. I would be a very happy guy if we end up coming with another one, but this product is awesome. I think it's going to go gangbusters and do big things for accounting. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah. Very, very excited to see what happens with this. I think it'll be a game changer for all of FloQast. Once it's fully connected and integrated with everything, it's going to automate everything end to end for us. It'll be
fun.
Cool.
It'll be fun. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining today, Billy. Cool. Appreciate you taking the time, man.
One last thing before we go. It wouldn't be a chat with the boss if I didn't break it out. I had to do it.
What do we got here?
Sorry.
Oh boy, I forgot about all this.
Even though you beat us, we had to represent.
I'm good with that.
I take my lumps.
We're beating up on the AL East 2 years in a row there.
Yes.
Who's next? Red Sox this year?
Hey, I'm just glad you didn't let them beat you because I would have been so mad if they are the one team that beat you guys.
That's very true. That's very true. At least you're not wearing an Astros hat. I'm happy about that.
There you go. No, we can all agree we don't like the Astros.
And I'll still say thank you for joining us today, Billy. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Mike. This has been awesome.
Of course.